experiment.
Hello and welcome to Experiment Lab, the daily show with JK. I'm JK, your host. I'm joined by Amar and also other team member who is still shy to join. Is he joining, Amar?
Yeah, he has joined.
He should be, right?
Yeah.
All right. So,
He's here.
okay.
Hi, Tika.
Mar, hi JK.
So we are getting some exciting news. So hopefully you know that, like that.
What's the
You
news?
are on the project and you are trying to get some update, and we are even going to share that in this talk. So we just had like back-to-back interview for Google. So this time, like again, Amar, we might get removed or blocked
Right.
from this. So this was a long pending due, and it's going to happen. And I have recorded those interviews. We just had like a quick call from the HCL side of it, and they just want like to wrap up this and quickly onboard. So they want to meet again one more time. So luckily we had this live show. So we thought like, okay, we can live stream this. Why not? Right? So that's what is going to happen. Meanwhile, Iftikhar can give us comment, right? What is happening on the other thing that he is trying to do or explain.
Right. Looking after the city project wherein the meetings are taking place on time. And apart from that, looking after the CBAS profile, wherein I'm not taking any calls as the interview calls are to be handled by Utkarsh. So only replying to the emails. And I think one more meeting is there that is for release planning. The same time that is conflicting. So that's it.
Okay. Do we have Santosh from the DB team? Because I need to talk about the timings for database.
You mean to say this one, right?
Yeah. That's right.
That's happening. So probably we cannot show this fully to our audience. So we just show the glimpse of it. We'll unmute ourselves and disconnect from the, what do you call it?
From the ETL clear.
Audio.
And, okay. All right. I have a hard stop at 12:30, so I think we should get started now. Okay. So
So from your side, like probably you can join through the phone, the audio. So that's exactly what our audience will get to know, right? So how these guys are managing these projects, right? So many projects at the same time,
Right.
just to
Correct.
explain that how this is happening.
Right. JK, I'll ask one more questions from you. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. As we're handling project of city, right?
Yes.
At the same time, the same person is handling other projects, right? Now,
That's right.
so don't you think that if it goes to the public domain, that would be a legal concern? Don't you think that?
When it becomes a legal concern, right? So it will be a legal concern for who? That's the question. If anyone
For
feel offended, right? For example, if you feel offended, you have the right to go to the court, right? And are you ready to spend that much of amount to go to court and file complaint on anyone?
Not about me. For example, let's say city.
Yes, city will be confused, right? What they are supposed to do. City is a big global group, right? So they will take time to understand who is exposing this and who is that person. And even if they find this, it is Shiva, and also they file a complaint with LTI, right? Or TCS or Cognizant, they will move on. They have much more business to worry about rather than filing a complaint on an individual. How will they take action? Because he is not a city employee, right?
Right. But there will be a question on that on LTI or
Yes,
TCS.
right. A security violation, they will bring that up and they will
Correct.
find companies. And that is what like we are trying to get the attention, right? See, you are being hacked through your vendors. It's that simple. You trust them and you are hiring their employees to do your company work without employing people in your company. So that's the price you pay. So let them handle that, right? So we are exposing the corruption that is happening in our society.
Now, what if it comes to the ground level from TCS or LTI? So what will happen in that case?
Okay, so LTI, TCS, Cognizant, or Infosys, they all are big as well, right? So they don't care. Like they will fire one person and say that like it was some mistake and we are rectifying that, and whatever. Like even if the government agencies are going to fine them, they'll pay fine and they'll move on.
Okay.
Right? That's how like it works. It always works like that. So that's where like it cannot be stopped, right? Nobody bothers, nobody cares unless we become very popular, viral, and news agencies, big news channels are talking about it, like CNN, Fox News, or NDTV in India, or other TVs, right? Times Now. Then we have some traction, right? Some attention from the government agencies or from the public. Otherwise, nobody cares, right? There are thousands of.
So don't you think so that this show is going live, right? It's live streaming.
Yes.
And the peoples are watching it.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
don't you think that if it goes public, it may go to the media as well?
Hold on a minute, right? Let me answer that before we join this interview, and then like we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Okay.
This is more interesting. Just be on mute, right? Because I am going to join.
Sure.
Hey, hi Mani. Hi again one more time. So I have Rajat and Vikram also joined back. So over to you, Rajat, without wasting time.
Mani,
Hi,
hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry. Like I just have to close
I
my
thought-
screen, right?
No
It is
problem.
too bright.
I thought you'll be that young guy, but you seem to be an experienced person, no?
Oh,
Should I
okay.
start by saying Mani, sir, or something?
Sorry, I should have shaved. That's
okay.
fine.
Just
Probably we
nice.
might be
Okay,
the same age, right? I don't know. That's
So I actually wanted to connect with you because I saw something which is quite alarming for me, that you have a good experience to Salesforce implementation. And then, so I'm also a Salesforce administrator in past, worked on a lot of Salesforce stuff. And then I was also an ex-project manager. So a lot of your areas matches with what I have done earlier. But let me tell you in advance, if you really come up and join our team, Google does not offer anything what you currently have. You would have to actually spend a lot of, and it's not to convince us, but you would have to actually spend a lot of time learning. But when I say a lot of time, but that has to be learn and work simultaneously. That's the mantra for the team, where you would have to probably learn and work simultaneously. So just wanted to alarm you on what's coming towards your way before we proceed ahead with anything. So your views?
yeah, absolutely right. So I am trying to keep myself young at art, right? So try to be like a 20 and also match up with my kid. So that being said, right, even with the Bank of America, when I joined, my program director, he said like, Mani, take your time. You have enough time to learn things. And also it's like, you're going to be here with us for 2 years, at least on the contract. And more on fraud tech side of it, like regulations and compliance and all those processes to onboard third-party vendors, have to go through a lot of documents and learn a whole lot of things. Though I have worked in the bank before, each organization is unique, right? So why I picked this opportunity is like, I'm quite excited, and I've been like almost looking for my entire career, like to somehow end up in Google, at least have some stint there, like, and try to explore that domain. And I know that like it's a lot to learn, and also it's good, right? So when you learn new things and meeting with the new culture and new organization, I'm up for that, and I'm quite excited. Thank you for Vikram and Ram. Like, so they just turned around immediately and said like, okay, let's move on to this.
Great. So just wanted to understand from you, are there certain people who are reporting on to you, or you're working as an individual contributor?
No, I work with like along the PMO director team, like around 12 people. Like we all manage around 16 projects together, work across different global teams, like with the release management team and product management team. And I have around 14 people reporting to me and managing other resources as
Yes,
well.
there would nobody reported it. Let me tell you in advance.
That's
So here you'll have, okay, so let me give you a scenario and consider that as a scenario. Let me know how would you react to certain things.
Yeah.
A Googler reaches out to you because you'll be working onto a support environment where you're managing an application called SmartTrack. I think Ramdas, I trust him, he must have given you a good introduction around what is expected and how the role would do, right?
Yes.
So imagine that a Googler reaches out to you, and in Google, when people reach out to you, and if there is a business criticality, they don't give you enough space because we work in parallel, a lot of teams. So if your application is not working, if the job is getting failed, there is another engineer who's working on it, and there is a third person who is actually approaching him, the fourth person approaching you. There are multiple people approaching to other support person who are trying to escalate that. And that's a real life scenario I'm sharing that. Now you would have multiple escalations on your side, and then you would reach out to the vendor of your application, and he would say, hey, you know what, this kind of an issue would take 2 days for me to resolve. Now, how would you react to certain situation? How would you ensure that there is no noise, people are calm and composed? How would you react to certain things?
Yes, absolutely right. So those real-time scenarios are again, as even I have interacted with Googlers before on the support team side of it, like requesting on different product options, and how do we like escalate that, and when do we get that resolution? different Google products I have used with and with the support team. Similar to that, right? Even with my experience, I would say, like, as I was mentioning to Ram and Vikram as well, the last few years I have been more attuned towards agile mindset and being a Scrum Master. I've become a complete facilitator where I'm a servant leader, keep myself cool and calm and communicate and get the things done, self-organize
But how would
myself.
you
Handling
I'm trying
that,
to
right?
understand.
So in terms of
Okay, I'll take it a scenario.
Hmm.
I am working on a project where I need to pull out a report from the Smart Track, which is your upcoming application.
Yeah.
Now that is not working, and the data is coming out is actually really corrupted, and that is because there are certain jobs which are getting filled. Now I reach out to you telling this is not working. At the same time, I reach out to the cloud engineer telling him, hey, you know what? There is some integration issue. It's not working. The third person reaches out to third team which is working on something. So every application is connected to each other, right? If you
Yes.
work on Salesforce, you understand there are certain applications who sits at center and all the applications connect to it. Smart Track is a kind of application which helps you onboard people. Now there are multiple teams working on it, utilizing from the different purposes altogether. Okay. Now 3 support team are working in parallel. 2 of them are actually a kind of stakeholder for you. So there is a Googler who is out to you. There's another Googler who is actually from support team reaching out to you, escalating the thing. There is a third person coming from the business analyst team and probably telling you this needs to be sorted in the next couple of hours. Otherwise, there is a business impact tag to it because the real-time data which business is pulling is not correct. And if they utilize it for any kind of a planning, that will be a bigger problem. You reached out to the vendor support team. The team, so when you understand like vendor support, which means
Yes.
that the vendor was provided to that application, same as what you do in Salesforce.
Yep.
You raise the case with Salesforce, they will raise with the Smart Track. Now they are telling you this is not, which is an immediate action for us. We have other priorities as well. We would not be able to respond you back before 2 days. Now here you have a limitation of 2 hours. They are asking you 16 hours to revert you back. You're not even sure that 16 hours later they'll be able to resolve it or not. Now, how would you manage those things? I'm coming to you, I'm shouting on you, I'm not even waiting. You report to Ramdas and dropping an email to Ramdas. If Ramdas doesn't listen to me, next 1 hour you'll see the email coming into Jatin. It would go up and up.
Yes.
Like 1 hour each, you have 1 more escalation added to your KT. So by the time you start understanding what's happening, you already have 4 escalations to your inbox.
Yes.
How
Yes.
would you manage?
Yeah, I understand that, right? So those kind of scenarios again, in terms of approach, where do I stand? Like what kind of knowledge I have in handling those? To simply put it, right? So finding out like the right POC, like with different options you said, right? Different people reaching out and saying that like this has been a critical one and it's an emergency. We need an answer. And the SLA that we got is like within next 2 days, you won't get any response. So in that case, like we need to find the workaround, like who will be the right person, like to contact that point of contact who has the knowledge to resolve this immediately. Finding that person will solve half the problem, and also connecting with others to understand and analyze the problem. And if it is really going to take that much of time, that keeping that like in the escalation chain and not to make sure that it is being escalated, and trying to resolve that, and collectively as a team, like how do we address this problem and get the desired result. That's the approach I will go with.
The only action which I understood from you is around seeking out someone who would probably help you find a workaround. What would happen on the communication part? How would you ensure that the communication is happening? How would you ensure that you probably take maximum amount of inputs from the person who is reporting on to you in terms of seeking all the required information? Maybe they have some URL where there is saying there is a screenshot, or maybe the sample data, and how would they ensure that the data is incorrect? So maybe all those things would also need the guide, because that's a generic thing. So just to give you a background, I'm also not a Smart Track guy. So even if I'm taking problem talking to you, consider me as your colleague, because I'm more inclined towards Salesforce. But there is something called generic support module, where if somebody is probably coming out to you, the first and foremost thing we think is to seek as much information as possible from you first. Because before I reach out to vendor or before I reach out to someone who's actually acting as a workaround person for me, they would need an information. And the maximum amount of time is wasted when you probably to and fro. Like, for example, you reach out to me, Rajat, do you have a URL? I gave you a URL. Maybe next time the person will tell you, so I think the data is correct. Who's telling you the data is incorrect? Then you have to probably come back to me and again ask, can you have probably help me with the sample data? And how did you actually came to, right? So there must be something on which I probably started shouting and saying, no, the data is incorrect, right? So there is something which is triggering that. And the number of people who are getting impacted, because if you really have to escalate something, even to vendor who is saying that there is a 2 days, you probably have to tell them the business impact tag to it. You would say that even though your SLA says 2 days, but I don't care. It's my business which is getting impacted. You let me know what's required to push things on. I'm not saying that you have to be aggressive on them, definitely not. But you have to probably be intelligent enough to understand that what is happening, what information I need. The information can be extra, but it can't be less, right? I can give you whatever you want. It can be 2+, but I can't say even a -1 to it. And the most important factor, how can I probably push them? The push them is whatever information you'll collect from one user, you would probably make them a business case around it and put that on the case which you have raised with them. Telling them that this is actually an important thing, even though this falls under maybe a P2, a P3 or CVL2, whatever the term you must be using. But I think for us, it's kind of a P1 or even a P0 for that matter. And this is the reason behind that. There are 200 people getting impacted, my business getting impacted. I might have a loss of maybe $50 million because I would take certain steps based on incorrect data. So then they would understand there is money tag to it, there is system tag to it, there is timeline tag to it. So something like this kind of an approach would be required every now and then because it's a burning field, it's a burning area where we have to work together and we would need champions like you to probably come up and help us.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So around the clock, like, as you mentioned, right. So making that analysis, and it's not just like pulling in and sharing that link or getting the answers and providing that solution one-time fix kind of thing, like having an overall understanding of what is happening and reaching out to those point of contacts, like even whether it's a vendor or the support team, keeping them in loop and getting those help, like understanding the team. I think that will, we can easily help each other and pull around people's like when needed and go to them when there is a need for you to answer these kind of things, like which you are not aware of it. Again, those are challenges. I understand if you are new to it and you don't know the dynamics and also the environment in which we need to operate it. It takes time, like for us, like to get to know people. And if you have that confidence and reach out, as you mentioned, right, keeping everybody like in the Slack or in the group channel or chatting it with constantly updating it, like we get that. And that's something like over the years, like I have learned, and I think I can bring in value to the team in that way.
Okay, thank you so much. That's what I had. Anything you have for me?
No, I'm quite excited, and it was short notice back to back, and I was expected to join. If you guys like we can start from next week. I'm ready, available for that challenge.
Good to know. Thank you so much, Mani. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Ram, and thank you, Vikram.
Thank you. We
All
can
right.
stay back if you want, Rajat. Well, thank you, Mani.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
guys. Have a good day.
Good day.
Bye.
Good day.
Before the show ends, like it ended, I was thinking that, like, come on guys, I'm doing a show here, like I'm going to say that, like, you guys are being screwed by YouTube.
Impressive. It was nice interview.
So
Is it
He was
is
trying.
that only audio or
He was
Huh?
trying to. He was trying to put you in a critical situation, but you
Yes.
made him. Yeah.
see again, right? So they had like back to back 15 minutes, like with different person. Right now it was Ram. I thought like it was our Ram. Ram. And he did the first round, and then the second round, the guy like Vikram, he did. So they even had like some logical question asked. I couldn't answer that, like, but they were just saying like, no, just we are trying to chill and ask you some different questions. This is how like Google interview will be. So I don't want you to miss that experience. That's why we asked that question. Let me ask you guys, right? What goes up and down but stays in the same place? What is that?
What goes ups and down, right?
What it goes up and down
Mhm.
but stays in the same place. What is it?
Confidence level.
No. Again, Amar, can you think of? This is like exposing the Google interview questions to our audience. Those who want to ace the interview in Google, right? Expect these kind of logical questions.
Sorry, I cannot.
Staircase.
Oh,
It stays the same, right? So, but you can go up and you can go down. So we are not that smart, and I agree, right? I shouldn't be saying that we are. They are like another question as well in that some logical thinking on age wise, right? I'll remember that, or it was recorded, right? So I will play that out like for the next episode. We are running out of time. Again, we have shared. Hopefully, he doesn't calls again. If he calls again, then I will be in trouble. So that is
Why?
again, yes.
I mean, why you will be in trouble?
I was going to jump off, right? So,
Oh, okay,
so I
okay.
don't want like to be there like all the time. So
Correct. Got it.
I want someone to join. Again, right now they have seen me, right? And I don't know that like Shiva has to come in person to Google Office. So if Shiva shows up there, like they'll see like what? You saw that, right? That dude was like old and he also has a beard, big beard like me. And he was expecting an young guy and he saw like, oh, what is this? Like a dude like who's going to retire like in his 50s or maybe 60s. He was shocked. But anyway, like if Shiva has to go there, Shiva is also like bald and he's not young, he's 40 plus, but he cannot show his face over there. And I don't know how this is going to work, but this was fun.
They will not remember, I'll tell you, because after a span of 7, 10, or 20 days, people forget the faces, as well as they have gone through several interviews. They're into
no,
this field.
sometimes they take a screenshot
Yeah.
to identify the guy.
Amar is becoming smart, right? So they are taking screenshots nowadays.
In my case also, he took it.
Yeah, again, right? So you are not going to go. That's not a problem, right? It's the
Right.
person who is going to go, right?
Right.
So that's something like we just need to explore how we can address these issues. That's why like we are bringing this up. Again, no offense to Google or to YouTube. Please don't take down this hard pressed show we did for today. And we want this in the public platform so that people know that like even you can get into Google without having any knowledge. Obviously, we have a lot of knowledge. We are getting people into it like without proper channel, right? So the vulnerability, we are exposing the vulnerability of our hiring process and how crucial, because this is based on the feedback that I got from the team, the vendor. They said like it's an entire Indian team and it's a support system. They want an Indian person, and it's like they are asking a project manager, and you all can see that, right? So the questions and the thing that they proposed, it's like a support role. Nobody will be reporting to you, and it's like you are just going to work as a support assistant kind of, right? And they just look for people with whom they can work comfortably, right? So get the things done with. So that's what is happening. This is not in any way fair, but still, this is how the world operates. And I have no more comments. Let's wrap up today. Thank you, Amar and Iftikhar. Bye for
Thank you
now.
all.
But
Bye.